Something interesting to check now and then is what are the most popular games in cloud gaming services. In general, there's not a lot of accurate data from the different services. But thanks to SteamDb, we are able to check what are the most played games on Geforce Now. I wish I could say the same about the other services. Today we'll focus on single-player games, since they are such a different user base from multiplayer. Let's get into it. So from our SteamDb chart, let's mask out the games that aren't single-player. There we go. Of course, some of the games have been here longer and others are recent releases. We'll start from number 10 and count down to 1. At number 10, we've got Sid Meier's Civilization 6. Before doing anything else in this game, you should spend a bunch of minutes listening to the amazing Sogno di Volare that welcomes you to the game menu. What a track, wow. In fact, the whole soundtrack is really good. So game-wise, not very surprising at this point. Most Civilization games are pretty good, simply because they are based on an amazing original idea from many years ago, well executed. They just revamp things and add some complexity here and there for every version, but the gist of it is the same. This iteration 6, it's pretty successful after a bit of a rough start. Personally, I'm not a fan of the cartoony art style they adopted. I think it doesn't fit the game at all. But beyond that, yes, great game, and incredibly time consuming if you're into it. It's one of those just one more turn. At number 9, we find Terraria. This is a game that's very cheap and works on any machine, and behind its apparent simplicity, it's actually a very deep game. Some people call it 2D Minecraft, and it's not that far from the truth. It's mostly a combat game where you have to fight enemies and build structures, and the crafting system is insanely deep. My only issue with it is that I realized it will ask quite some time from me, and for this type of game, I already have another one which scratches a similar itch, and that I prefer a little bit better. And it's also part of this list, so I'll mention it later. This is the oldest game in this list. It was released in 2011. That's 14 years ago. A testament to the great devotion from the developers and the community. At number 8, we find Euro Truck Simulator 2. Another one that's been around for a long time. They should call this one Chill and Relax in Your Truck Simulator, because that's what most people enjoy about this game. You start a long route, listen to your music or a podcast on the radio and chill out while you're driving. It also has a business side to it, but the core of the game is definitely the driving. I've heard it's amazing on VR, but I haven't tried that myself, and as we know, VR on the cloud isn't the best idea yet. At number 7, we've got the very new Assassin's Creed Shadows. Well, this game is only part of this list because it just released, so there are a ton of gamers giving it a go right now. Unfortunately, and without even trying it, I suspect this is not for me. This saga isn't one of my favorites. I played a few of them and never enjoyed them that much. I actually found them quite repetitive and not very good story-wise. This new game just looks like UV trying to milk another title out of the franchise. And from a personal point of view, with more than a passing familiarity with Japan and its history, I prefer not to feel insulted by playing this game. I'd rather just play Ghost of Tsushima. Number 6 is for the very good Cyberpunk 2077. I played it long ago and I thought it was fantastic. Maybe because I played the PC version, but in spite of its rough launch, I only ever hit one very minor bug in the whole game. It's a brilliant game, and art-wise, probably the best city environment I've ever seen in any game by a long margin. Also, just like they did with The Witcher 3, the developers have really kept their side of the bargain by providing long-term support to the game, and it's only even better now. Unfortunately, I haven't been able to play the Phantom Liberty DLC yet, but I should definitely do that at some point. It's no surprise this game is one of the most played around. It's not perfect, as it inherits some of the problems from every sandbox game, but it's pretty awesome. Position number 5 for Hearts of Iron 4. This is another game that's been quite a long time around the charts. I'm scared by this game, very scared even if I have never played it. Why is that? Well, because it looks like a game that I might like a lot, but also something that might require a huge time investment. With so many games to try, I'm quite selective about the titles I play. Everyone says this is the definitive World War II strategy experience, and it sounds like a phenomenal one to play. Not just that, but the user base has only been constantly growing since it got released. It's one of the most played games and selling really good. It also has a very active community, which means lots of mods and lots of learning content. A real temptation for me. We'll see if I resist it or not, but I'm sure it's a fantastic game. At number 4, we've got Kingdom Come Deliverance 2. Okay, this is a bit trendy, but at the same time, I'm pretty sure this is a great game, even if I've never played it. Why? Well, not just because both critics and gamers agree it is a great game, but mostly because I did play the first game of the saga. I spent over 90 hours on it a few years ago, and I enjoyed it quite a lot. I might play it at some point, although I admit, right now from what I've seen, it feels a bit like I will be playing the same game again. With the first one, I had big issues with the combat system. Even when I became very strong, it always felt very clumsy to me. And it feels like this one might still suffer a bit from that. This being said, I'm sure the story will be phenomenal, and that's way more important than the combat system. The third position is for Baldurs Gate 3, the game that apparently does everything right. I regretfully admit I haven't yet played this one. I will certainly do, but in a split decision between this one and Rogue Trader, I went with the latter because I love the Warhammer 40k universe, but I'm pretty sure I will play Baldur's Gate this year at some point. This game really needs no introduction. It's won all the awards and accolades, and for many it's just the best RPG ever released. Apparently it shines on every department, and I'm very eager to test it as soon as I finish the titles I'm currently playing. According to many people, this one does everything right, and some others think the final section drags a little bit. I'll have to play it to see who's right, but I'm definitely getting it, and you should probably too. At number 2 we have Stardew Valley, and I would say this is a true number 1. Not just because our current number 1 is a recent release, but also because this game has been one of the most played for such a long time. Stardew Valley was released in 2016, that's 9 years ago, and it still consistently hovers around the top places. It's a really cozy game that has the magical power of connecting with almost everyone. Before I played it, I thought it would be a childish JRPG-like thing, but it's not. It's just a really smart combination of ideas that create a wonderful cocktail of a game. It's very relaxing, but extremely engaging too. It's also really long and very replayable. I can't really say anything bad about it. It's just a magical experience that needs to be played by everyone. Also, the level of commitment from the developer is nothing short of amazing. I think it's really good news for the gaming community that a game like this is topping the charts so often. It kind of feels like a big message from gamers to all developers, as in, we still value gameplay way over big budget eye candy, if you know what I mean. Finally, Monster Hunter Wilds is our number 1 right now, and it is only so because it's a recent release, so it's quite trendy right now. It's true the Monster Hunter games, as this is a saga, are getting bigger with every release and growing its gamer base. Monster Hunter Worlds and Monster Hunter Rise were both successful titles for Capcom. I've heard Wilds is easier and shorter than previous releases, and kind of feels Capcom are trying to cater it for mass appeal, which isn't always the best for a game in my experience. On the other hand, it also seems to start to pay some more attention to the campaign story, so maybe they're onto something. This one is proving to be quite popular so far, but we'll see how long it stays around the top of the chart. And that's all for this ranking right now. These are the most popular single-player games being played right now in Geforce Now. I thought it was an interesting mix of recent releases and long-time heavyweights. Did you enjoy it? If it proves popular, I might revisit this one by the end of the year, or maybe do a similar one for multiplayer games. Let me know what you thought about it and what's your favorite title right now for cloud gaming. I hope you found this entertaining. If you did, feel free to click like and subscribe, but even if you don't, thanks for watching, and enjoy your gaming in a relaxed setting.